What up, YouTube? So I did a live stream yesterday with Flip Otaku about the new Ultraman for the first episode from Ultraman Z or Ultraman Z, however you want to pronounce it. We did about, it was like a 90-minute, just over 90-minute kind of discussion. It was supposed to be about Ultraman, but we rarely touched on the subject. So I figured I would take this opportunity to talk about Ultraman, the new show, plus the Mill Creek Blu-rays and another Blu-ray that I have that I kind of showed a little on the live stream that we did yesterday. If you don't know Flip Otaku, I would check out his channel. I mean, he does great content. It's like pretty much everything manga, anime, tokusatsu, that kind of stuff. So he's a good guy and does really good videos. And if you want, you can check out the live stream that we did. It's available now on YouTube on his channel. So if I can figure out how to post a link, I will. And he suggested that I do more videos this way as opposed to just the hands. So this will be my first video where you actually see my face. So yeah, let's start. So I'll kick off with the new episode of Ultraman, Ultraman Z, or Z, however you want to say it. I'll just say Z because I'm Canadian. The first episode premiered on Friday on the Tokusatsu, or the Subaraya's official YouTube channel. And from my knowledge, this is the first time that a Ultraman show has been released in North America at the exact same time it was in Japan. And it's also been localized with like official English subtitles, which is great because, you know, a lot of tokusatsu fans like myself who love Ultraman, we pretty much have to wait until they come out. Or if you were like me, I watched a lot of the modern day Ultraman on the Subaraya's YouTube channel, but they didn't have any subtitles, so I just kind of like had to watch it and enjoy the, you know, giant monster battles, but I didn't really know what was going on in the story until Mill Creek released the Blu-rays, and then I could go back and rewatch them with subtitles. This is like the first time simulcasted, you know, like across North America and in Japan, and it was huge. Like within an hour it had 74,000 views, and as of yesterday it had 1,340,000 views. So I mean, that's really big, especially for, you know, tokusatsu fans. The way that it works is they usually have the one episode will play for a week, so Friday to Thursday, and then Friday a new episode will come out. So this Friday the second episode should premiere, so that'll be really fun. It's a good show so far. I have notes that I made for the stream that I didn't really get to use, so I'm gonna go over the show pretty much. So the first episode was called I Ask That You Chant My Name. And we're introduced to the main character named Haruki. And Haruki works for, where do I have it here? It's somewhere in here. Storage. It's called Global Allied Forces Storage. And Haruki is, there's a Gomez, which is the first monster that appears. And it's like attacking a city, and the shot kind of starts like POV, like a Cloverfield style almost, and you see the giant monster coming through. But then, and Haruki is there, and he's kind of on the ground level, and then their Storage's robot appears to fight Gomez, and the robot is Sevenger, piloted by Yoko, and you realize that Gomez is only 20 meters, while Sevenger is 50 meters. So Gomez is like a smaller monster. Sevenger is like much bigger. And then Sevenger kind of defeats Gomez. And you realize, like, as you're watching it, you see like they're kind of focusing a little more on the comedy aspect of the show. Haruki is kind of like a funny, you know, comic relief kind of character, which is fine. I mean, I'm enjoying it. So and then it kind of goes out into space, and you see this giant monster, which is the ferocious space shark Genegarg, and it's being chased by our hero, Ultraman Z. And so Ultraman Z is pursuing it, and then the space shark like shoots these beams at Zed, and Zero appears and blocks the blast, and then Zero starts fighting the space shark, and then the space shark transports, like, opens up a dimensional portal, and Zero gets sucked into the portal. But before he does, he throws these things at Zed, which are metals, and it looks like a little device that we'll mention later. And so Zed grabs them. The shark turns to Earth, and then Zed follows the shark down to Earth. So the shark appears. Storage is sent out to battle this monster, and the shark is a full-size, like, 50-meter monster. So Gomez was kind of like the introduction monster, which was quite smaller, and now we get like a full kaiju in the movie, or in the show. This time Haruki is piloting Sevinger, and he starts fighting the shark, and then, but at the same time, Zed has appeared, and so Zed and Sevinger team up to fight the shark, but the shark is really powerful and kills Haruki in the battle and defeats Zed. So then Zed, in this, like, kind of other realm, explains to Haruki that he's been killed, and if they fuse together, join their powers, they can become ultra powerful. And he hands Zed that device that I'd mentioned earlier. Well, doesn't hand it to him, but he, like, presents it to him. And it's called the Ultra Riser. And when he gets the Ultra Riser, it makes an Ultra Access card with Haruki on it. He puts the access card in the riser, and then the riser has spots for metals. And those were the metals that Zero had thrown at Zed earlier in the episode. And the 3 metals that he gets have a picture of a different Ultraman on them. So the first 3 he gets are 0, 7, and Leo, or Leo, however you want to say it. So he puts them in the riser, scans each one, and then he calls out his name, Ultraman Z, and or Ultraman Z, and then he gets kind of like absorbed into Ultraman, and then they transform into like a hybrid of the 4 Ultramen. So it'll be Z, 0, 7, and Leo. And he has abilities from all the different Ultramen that were in the metals. So he says he has like the Kung Fu fire kick from like Leo, and he has the blast from 7, and then he can use the helmet like blades from 0 that turn into this kind of like light infused like pair of nunchucks almost, and he makes like a Z out of them and stuff. Like, it's really cool. So then he obviously overpowers the shark, and they win. And then when he flies off, he makes like a Z in the sky, which is really cool. Like, and then when the monster is defeated, I forgot to mention, but Zero had said you have to collect all the metals from the monster. So then the monster gets defeated, and it drops these new metals with different Ultramen. So Haruki gets 2, Yoko gets 1, but then it shows another kind of character off screen, and he has 3 Ultraman medals as well. And so it kind of, the episode kind of ends, except we go back to storage, and there's these guys working that are like clearing up the monster debris. And one of them is pushing a barrel with monster guts in it, and he trips and falls. His name is Kaburagi. So Kaburagi is kind of clumsy, and he trips, and the barrel opens, and the guy with him is like, I gotta clean this up. And then he gets possessed by like an alien, and I'm assuming he's one of the protagonists. There might be 2, because they didn't really show who the other character was that had the Ultraman medals. So I'm very intrigued after the first episode. I mean, I really enjoyed it. The miniature work was absolutely fantastic. The kaiju design was great. I love the Ultraman, how he looks, and when he has in his base form, and then when he has the combined form. And there's 3 different combined forms that they've shown so far in like promotional material, but we've only seen the one so far in the show. And so I'm really intrigued. I enjoy modern Ultraman, so I figured this show would probably be pretty good. Like, and I wasn't mistaken. Like, it's a lot of fun. Again, a little heavier on the comedy side, but I'm not worried about it because I mean it's fun. It's like a light, fun show. It's not Nexus, which was more like adult themed. You know, Nexus was like the prime time Ultraman that was playing for like adults. This is more, you know, like Geed, where it's like a kids, or not kids, but like geared towards like younger audience. But I mean, I'm an Ultraman fan and I'm enjoying it, so I can't wait to see episode 2. And now going forward, I'll kind of show some of my Ultraman stuff, including all the Mill Creek Blu-rays and then a box set that I have. So I'll show the box set first, which is Ultraman Zero Revenge of Belial movie box set. So here's and this is the Japanese import. So here's the cover, and it's a wraparound cover. So there's Zero on the front with 0 and 7. 7 is Zero's father. And then it goes to Belial on the back. This is a great movie. It's so good. It's one of my favorite tokusatsu, like kaiju films, like of all time. And this box set's really cool. So it comes with the digipack, the Blu-rays with the characters on it. Really cool. And then it has this book, which is really thick. This is the full kind of storyboard with the script, which is like really cool. So you can see some of the like storyboarding and everything, which is great. And it's thick. It's the full movie. So this is really cool. This is a really cool box set. I paid quite a bit of money for it because I had to import it. There's some other extra stuff in here, you know, because usually when you get like Japanese DVDs or Blu-rays, they'll come with extra stuff like postcards and advertisement stuff and everything. And it has this little like wraparound stuff that a lot of the Japanese manga also comes with. So I thought that was really cool. It's a great box set, but it's like really expensive. I paid a lot of money for it. And then going with the, I'm gonna say you should check it out if you can. This obviously doesn't have English subtitles, but I know Mill Creek will be releasing Zero, so this movie will probably come out. And this is one of 2 movies, I believe, that for Zero. There was the Ultraman Belial movie and then the Revenge of Belial. And it's like a 2-parter kind of, and they're both really good. Like this one is amazing because it has the Kaiser Belial, where he turns into this like Godzilla, space Godzilla looking kind of creature, which is great. And he's way bigger than even Ultraman. Like he can hold Ultraman in his hand, and it's really cool, like end fight kind of thing for the Zero characters. So it's really good. And then with the Mill Creek stuff, so to begin with, we have, and I got most of the steel books. So we have Ultra Q, and this is series 1. And then the back. So this has the full series of Ultra Q, which was the original series that started off the Ultra franchise back in the 60s. It's all in black and white, but the transfer is gorgeous. Like this is one of the best transfers I've ever seen. Like it's just crisp and clean. And there's no Ultraman in this show. It's just like these kind of characters that are, it's almost like what is that called? That show, that old American show. What was it? Oh my God, now I'm blanking on it. If I remember, I'll come back to it. Yeah, it's just like this series of, you know, like these monsters show up and then people are like investigating them, and then the science patrol comes out and has to defeat the monster and stuff. So it's like oh my God, I can't remember that show. What's wrong with me? So it's good. It's like these recurring characters and the different monsters, and these are all like original monsters that eventually show up in the Ultraman series as well. And I wanted to get like the steelbooks. So there's also the Blu-ray collection in the Amaray cases that it come with slipcovers, and the spines of all of them make like an image with each like kind of Ultraman, the primary Ultraman on the spine, but there's like they make like one full image. It's really cool. But I want the steelbook because I'm like a steelbook guy. My buddy Rhett can attest because he always makes fun of me for the Steelies. And then the second one is Ultraman, and then it's 2 in the spine with Ultraman on it, and then the back. And again, this is the full series of Ultraman. The transfer is not as good as Ultra Q, but it's still really fun. And it's got like really good, like, this is where a lot of the monsters come to fruition, like, you know, Red King right there, Red the King. And it's fun. It's like a good show. It's not my favorite Ultraman, obviously. It's like 60s. So there's like, obviously Subaraya didn't have like a ton of money and stuff, but I mean, it's still fun. The costume stuff's good for the time. So it's like it's an alright show. And then we have Ultra 7, which this is my favorite tokusatsu, pretty much. Like, Ultra 7 is like one of the best shows ever. And 3 with 7 on the back, and then the back. And again, it's the full series except the controversial episode that has never been released on any kind of like physical format. Like, Shout Factory had released the DVD of Ultra 7, and it was missing the episode as well. So same with this one. And I haven't said this previous, but each one comes with a book. And the book, I'm not going to show all the books, but I'll show like for 7. And so the book has like, you know, images and kind of write-ups about the show and characters. And then there's also, yeah, here's the characters. And then there's also full episode guides of every episode, little descriptions, and then one of my favorite things is it has the bestiary, the kaiju list, which is really cool. So everyone comes with a booklet, even the non-steelbook ones. Yeah, 7 is a really good show. Like, this was, regardless of the time that it came out, I mean, this show is like top tier tokusatsu. It's always been one of my favorites. I definitely would recommend, because the good thing is you don't really need to have watched any of the previous Ultramans, like Ultraman shows. Each one is kind of standalone. Like, some of the modern ones will have characters that come back or Ultramen that will come back, and with another one that I'm going to show, it has like characters that come back, but you don't really need to have a lot of knowledge. Like, you could pick up 7 and watch it, and you wouldn't be lost. It's not like you'd be like, oh, I didn't watch Ultraman, or I didn't watch Ultra Q, so I don't know what's going on. Like, it's pretty, you know, self-contained. And then following Ultra 7 was Return of Ultraman. And this is 4 with Jack, I believe, is the name of this one. And there's the back. And again, like all of them, same, it's full series, comes with a booklet, and they all come with like this slip cover, which has like the writing on it. This one's really fun as well. Great characters. Actually, one of my favorite like main characters in any of the Ultraman series. Just like the story is really compelling. It's not so much just the monster of the week, even though it still has more like this compelling story of the main character, and him trying to like come to terms with being Ultraman and live a normal life and stuff. And so it's a good show. And then for the last of the Showa Ultraman series that have been released, we have Ultraman Ace, and this is 5 with Ace on the side, in the back. So then, like I was saying previously, you can see on the cover here, it has other Ultramen on the cover. Sorry for the glare. So this one has more of the older Ultramen like coming back. And this also has, because most of the Ultramen previously to this show, it was one guy and he does something and turns into Ultraman. This one has 2 main characters. It's a man and a woman, and they get these rings and they combine, kind of like the Super Friends. What was it? The Wonder Twins, and they combine to form Ace. And this was a first for tokusatsu, I believe, at the time, where there was a woman protagonist. But I guess it didn't get a lot of really good reviews, and it was a hard sell. So halfway through the series, they kind of got rid of the female character and just had the male. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's a thing of its time. But this is my least favorite Ultraman, I'd say. It's like kind of cheesy, and it's not the best. Like, it's not super compelling or anything. It's, when you come from like Ultra Q and Ultra 7 and the Return of Ultraman, Ace kind of like fell flat for me. But I mean, it's still, if you're a tokusatsu fan like me and you're an Ultraman fan, it's still worth picking up. I'm more like the completionist, and I have to get all of them. So, and then Mill Creek also simultaneously releasing the Showa stuff has been releasing the modern Ultraman series on Blu-ray. They're doing it weird though. They're going from like the newest, and then so it's like the oldest going forward, and then the newest going backwards. Really weird, because the modern ones are really connected. Like characters from, Ginga will show up in X, or like that kind of stuff. Like, so if you're watching X and Ginga characters show up, you don't know who they are. And if you're watching Geed, which is essentially a sequel to Zero, but you haven't watched Zero, you don't really know who some of the characters are. So it's a little weird the way Mill Creek is releasing them, but I'm not complaining because I love modern Ultraman. So getting them on Blu-ray, I'm like head over heels. So we'll go through, these are, I believe, in order of the Tsuburaya release, not the Mill Creek release. So there's Ultraman X. So these are not steelbooks. Obviously, they're just slip covers with the Amaries in the spine, and then the back. So each one of the modern ones comes with the series and the movie. And then outside of the slip, again, sorry for the glare. And then the back. Yeah, so full series and the movie. Ultraman X is really good. This is a really good modern tokusatsu Ultraman. Like, great characters, great the way the Ultraman looks, and he combines and gets these like this like armor and stuff, and it's really cool. The monsters are great. The special effects are fantastic. Even the CGI, even though Tsuburaya doesn't have the best CGI, the CGI in X is actually pretty decent. I highly recommend X. If you're looking for a not very continuity heavy, fun Ultraman series that's like a modern, because the modern stuff is great. Like, it looks fantastic. It's got like super high budget, miniature work and costumes and kaiju costumes and everything. So it's like X is a really good starting point. And then after X we have Orb. So Ultraman Orb, the front, and then the back, and same thing, it's the series and the movie. And then under the slipcase, Orb and Jugda. And this is the Ultraman from the movie. This is another good one. Kind of like a little melodramatic, but it's like interesting and fun. Again, good costume work, good set designs, good miniatures. So I'm recommending all of these. Obviously, they're like, it's really easy to get. I mean, I binge the modern ones. I'll watch them in like 25 episodes in like 3 days or something, just because it's like they're a lot of fun and really fast paced. So, and then Geed, like I had said before, which is essentially the sequel to Zero. So here's Zero, Geed, Belial. So Geed is essentially Belial's son, and that's why he kind of has the same eyes as the evil Ultraman. This is a really good series, a little more lighthearted, a little more kind of comedy based, but It's really fun. If you're a fan of Zero, this is a great show to get into. And then the back again, it's got the show and the movie. And then underneath, we have Guide, Belial, and then Guide from the movie. This one's, like I said, like if you're a Zero fan like me, this is one to get into. But again, like there's like other Ultramen that show up, and Zero and Belial. Like if you've never watched Zero, it would kind of be like you'd be lost. You would have no idea who these characters are. Like Belial is a huge part of the show, obviously, because it's like Geet is his son, and if you've never watched Zero, you would have no idea who Belial is. Belial is like a big Ultraman villain, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining because we're getting Ultraman released on high definition, full series, but it's like the order that Mill Creek is releasing them in is a little weird, but I mean, I'm still enjoying it. I'm a tokusatsu nerd, so I know a lot about Ultraman, but if the Joe Blow on the street just sees this and he wants to get into it, he might be a little confused, but I mean, there's always the internet and stuff, so you can check out, and if you're confused, you can like look it up. And then finally, we have Ultraman Orb: The Origin Saga. So this is I think it's only 12 episodes. And it's like the origin of Ultraman Orb. And then the back. And then it comes with so it's the prequel and sequel to the Ultraman Orb series. So there's Ultraman Orb The Origin Saga, which is 12 episodes, I was right. And then Ultra Fight Orb, which is only like 25 minutes. It's like a single episode, but it kind of feels like a mini movie, which is great. And again, like Orb, it's good characters, good set pieces, good costumes and stuff. So if you enjoyed Orb, this would be a good one to pick up because it explains kind of like how Orb came to be and then the follow up to the show. So all of these, I believe, except one, all of them are Japanese only with English subtitles, except I believe the Ultraman X movie has English dialogue. I could be wrong, but because it was released in North America in theaters, and so there was already a localization for it. So when they released it on Blu-ray, they added the localization. So I mean, any of the fans of the original Ultraman, there's no English dub. It's just subtitles, which I don't mind because I love watching them in the original language. But I know there are a lot of fans, like especially older fans that grew up watching the original Ultraman. They would much rather watch it in English because that's the version that they remember. But I mean, at least I can't complain because at least we're getting them, and those steelbooks are really nice, and we're getting full series and stuff. They're not too expensive, so it's like, what a time we're living in to be getting, Ultraman in HD in North America. And again, like I said, with Ultraman Z coming out, simulcasting, in North America with localization, that's like, I used to watch Ultraman on the Subaraya YouTube channel back at like Nexus and X, Orb, Ginga S. I watched all those on the Subaraya YouTube channel, and they never had subtitles. So this is like really nice to be able to watch a new Ultraman series with English subs. So yeah, make sure you check out Flip Otaku's YouTube channel. I might start doing more videos with my face, so Rhett will be very happy. Yeah, and until I'm just waiting on some stuff to come in. I have the Super 7 Toxic Crusaders, which I'll do a review when it comes in. And this Friday is the Severin mid-year sale, so I'm going to be ordering some stuff from them. And I think All the Colors of the Dark, no, The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward is coming in, so I'll do a little review when that gets here too. So anyway, I've been Troma Nerd, and thanks for watching.